"We are near your room," she said. "We might as well get you some fresh clothes." The room had survived surprisingly unscathed, and Number 9 was finally able to detach Tatty from her and get her out of the wretched nightgown. "Cherry Cola brought me here from town," Tatty snivelled, wriggling into a pair of skinny white jeans. "But when we got here it was just terrible." She rummaged around for a t-shirt and her favorite black jersey while guitar noise thrashed and fed far off in the background. "The carrot-stealing monks were here with the big Buddha and this green alien boy who... It was disgusting." She paused to take a deep breath, shaking on the edge of the bed. Number 9 wet a towel with warm water and began to wipe the grime off Tatty's face and neck. "There were these rituals they were doing," Tatty whispered, her eyes red and unfocused. "They were wearing robes and they had black candles and people's their heads were just lying there on the floor like cabbages. And there were all these funny patterns drawn on the floor with white paint and rat poison. They were all getting it on with the monster boy. And then they caught us and they wanted me to make it with them too. But I ran away into the secret passages, and then the crocodiles got loose." She buried her head in Number 9's robes, breathing raggedly. "Where was Romeo the dealer?" Number 9 asked. "He was out filming with K-Star. I didn't see them after," came Tatty's muffled voice. Number 9 took her firmly by the shoulders. "Listen, child bride, it's not safe here anymore," she said. "Put some shoes on and let's get moving." Tatty nodded, and Number 9 could see that the muscles along her neck were tense and bunched. She helped her dress and then led her by the hand up the stairs to the master chamber of Alphonse Guava. The white and gold bunker doors were firmly shut. The shrieking instrument emanated from within, along with an inhuman jabbering and screaming. Tatty was hiding behind Number 9, trying to pull her away from the doors. "Don't go in there!" she kept shouting frantically. Number 9 ignored her and began hammering on the lead-reinforced double doors. "Alphonse!" she called in an electronically amplified voice which cut instantly through the guitar's frequencies and caused Tatty to clap her hands to her ears. "That hurt!" she squealed. Number 9 calculated her options for a nanosecond before extending her left hand and microwaving the lock's electronics. The door began to open on its auto hinge, and the scene within was slowly revealed. A mess of broken tanks littered the soiled white shag. Pipes spurted liquid from smashed life support systems while reptiles roamed free, antagonizing one another. The noise was immense, staggering. All the glass was rattling violently. Some of the windows had even shattered. Alphonse was on the sheet, twisted satin of the bed, clad in the ruins of a pink suit. He was writhing and gibbering in a paroxysm of ecstatic agonies, a chitinous hump surfacing from his torn collar. Tatty stared in horror as Alphonse gorged himself on the small mountains of baby carrots around him. After each spluttered swallow, he seemed to calm slightly, only to surge back into palsy moments later. A massive arena sound quality stack had been moved into the room. It occupied an uncomfortable amount of space with its black bulk and cables, making the room seem so much more constricted than before. A haggard youth in a torn green jumper, black skeleton tights, and plastic Mickey Mouse ear cap stood before the tunnel-like woofers. He was wired for sound, slashing mindlessly at a glitter-pink Telecaster, making the whole world shake with each frantic emission. Tatty watched him sway recklessly in the stereo field, palms pressed desperately to her ears. The output was such that his lank, straw-colored hair fluffed out each time the speakers belched. The shouts of Number 9 were barely discernible within the sonic chaos, despite her frequency cutters. Her appeals to Alphonse quickly ran dry when she realized just how far gone he was. She muted her sonic input and shifted to spectral vision. Reptile energy bodies mangled like frog spawn in the waves of sound. She tuned her vision to Alphonse's writhing form, focusing in on the odious hump that plagued him so. The X-ray aspect of her vision detected a miniature simp straddling Alphonse Guava's upper spine. The green homunculus was even clutching at the tendons attached to his skull like reins as it attempted to settle against his bone. Somehow the creature seemed to realize that it was being observed and turned to face Number None through the ghostly layers of flesh. Alphonse's head mirrored its reaction in delay, turning to face her. She was disturbed to see how many of Alphonse's facial characteristics the symbiote had adopted, creating a nightmarish little caricature of him, blemished by antenna and mandible extrusions, an obscene little biological self-portrait which he now carried beneath his skin and close to his bones. His own face was a distorted wreck, drooling and sightless. Number None gathered Tatty up like a rag doll and strode back out through the aftermath, carrying her close. "We have to find Romeo the dealer," Number None told her when the guitar noise had faded sufficiently so that she could hear her speak. "He is the only one who can get us out of Jungle Country." A hot pink ray gun bolt unexpectedly ate a glowing hole out of a nearby Doric column. The blast momentarily lit everything the color of watermelons in the sun, and Tatty saw electric blue retinal mirages flicker in the aftermath. "Stay away!" shouted a ragged voice, a voice to which Tatty immediately responded. She scrabbled from Number None's bosom and ran down into the white marble courtyard beyond the pillars. The sunken square into which she stumbled was bright, lushly illuminated by glass skylights. Potted palms saturated the corners in leafiness. A fountain dominated the area, and a statue of the Venus de Milo, perversely depicted with arms, occupied the center of it, gushing water from its headless neck. Cherry-Cola was splashing in the water, handcuffed wrist to wrist with the statue. She had been badly beaten and sported a succulent purple eye, as well as various ugly bruises. Her candy uniform was torn at the shoulder, and she clutched a walkie-talkie in her upraised fist. Her other hand brandished an oversized chrome ray gun, still smoking from its latest report. The courtyard was strewn with the remains from crocodiles, Buddhist punks and party harders who had attempted to approach her during the night. Some still flailed limply, leaking alien fluids and greenish malformations. It was impossible to say how long Cherry-Cola had been cuffed to the statue, but she looked to be in pretty bad shape. She started crying dry, heaving sobs when she saw Tatty, dropping the ray gun in relief. Number None snapped off the statue's hand and at the wrist, freeing Cherry-Cola's upraised arm instantly. The roller-skating waitress collapsed into the water, clutching her ligatured limb while Number None pincered off the cuffs with her laser fingernails. "We need to leave this house immediately," Number None reiterated. Cherry-Cola nodded as Tatty helped her out of the fountain. "I got this walkie-talkie of a dead man," she coughed. "I managed to find Kenzo Cold-Eye's frequency about an hour or two ago." "Is he coming?" Number None asked. "He said he'd be here by nightfall," she winced. Leaning on the android for support as they limped through desecrated boudoirs and partially flooded conservatories. "Let's wait for him in the frangipani grove," Number None suggested. "That way we can see things coming." She glanced down and saw that Tatty was crying. The expression on her face was frozen and mask-like, yet hot tears leaked down her cheeks, collecting at her lips. "Alphonse is gone," she whispered.